on TikTok.
Okay.
So today I saw that Fox they tweeted this actually a few days ago, and I decided we would talk about with Gabe, who knows nothing about CG sports. So he's just gonna look off his stats on Wikipedia in a second. There's so many free agents in Siege right now. We want to see what is the best possible dream team we can make for Mirage or Parabellum or whoever right now, because there are so many players out right now. You can see that Fox they just tweeted a few players he thinks are pro league material, which is I think some of those are questionable. Like I don't know if I'd call Zeno better than some of these players on the list for sure, but like or Eddie, but there's definitely a lot of very strong players out there right now. I made a list. There's a lot of leaks too about rumors and stuff. Canadian Bosca retiring. Who else was retiring? Was it and that might have been it. Canadian and Bosco.
Yeah.
Space Station looking to drop Rampy and Yeti, which I think Yeti's weird. Mirage obviously released their entire roster. They need 5 players. It seems like Beast Coast is staying in Siege. I thought they were leaving. So Beast Coast needs 5 players if they're staying in Siege. Parabellum needs 5 players. And I'm questioning if TSM and Astralis left Siege. So I'm wondering now if they are going to have new orgs come into Siege to replace that 9th and 10th NA spot. Because that'd be 10 more players that we need. So it's looking kind of questionable right now. But, here's the R6 leakers tweet. I'm sure a lot of you guys watch it or look at it. So you can see Dark Zero, they want to drop Skies. Canadian wants to retire, which is crazy that that's actually going to happen again. He's already tried to retire once and came back. Space Station, apparently, again, this R6 leakers gets about half of it right, usually it seems like, so we'll see. But this is just rumors, but they want to drop Yeti and Rampy. Bosco wants to retire, which I think makes sense. He's already won an invitational. He's completed college, so he can always do that. And then Beast Coast, they're still looking for 5 players, which I think Eclipse denied a contract with them because of how little they're paying, because they're a smaller org. So it's like, I don't know how you're going to get players if you don't pay them enough money. So it's kind of hard for them. Parabellum, Kool-Aid. Apparently they're keeping him. They announced they're dropping all their players. They're dropping Blaz, which I think was first place in NA last season or something. He had the most kills. He's crazy. He's an EU import. He's French. So that's crazy they didn't keep Blaz. Now Mirage, they want to pick up Yeti apparently from Space Station, DP Fire, Surf, and they're looking for 2 more. Now looking at that roster, I think Yeti's a good flex or a fragger. I think he's a really good flex. We saw him play a lot of ops on Space Station. DP Fire I think is questionable over some of these other players, but I don't think he's a bad pick. He's definitely an upgrade. And Surf is obviously an upgrade. He was the best player on Beast Coast by far. I need 2 more. Apparently M80 wants to drop Spirits, which I think is fine. I think Spirits has not done as good on M80 or previously they were Xset as some of the other players did, like that they brought on. I thought Spirits definitely did better when he's on Parabellum. Sonics had no changes, and Super tweeted out earlier he's trolled us before, but he said they're not making any changes this season, which I hope they don't. And Oxygen don't want to make changes, which I don't think they do. If you didn't hear, Astralis dropped their Siege team. They want to get picked up by an org, but apparently they're likely separating. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to assume that Astralis are basically free agents, which they are. They're not bind to a contract anymore, but I'm just going to assume they're not being picked up by an org. They might, but I'm just going off of this leak, honestly. We're just going to assume for this that they're not. So I got R6 leaker up if Gabe wants to see anything. And then, so I made a list here going to the top. So I took a lot of people from Fox's list and I added a few people. If I'm missing anybody, sorry, but there's just so many going on right now. So you got all of TSM. You got, besides Bolo, he retired. You got Merc, Snake, Gasher, Achieved. You got DP Fire, who was on Astralis, got replaced by Spiff. Eddie, Challenger League player. Asian was on Parabellum, went back to Aerial Academy. You got Benji, Dexter, Melted, Mohisi, Kento, which were Mirage, but Kento got replaced by Hyper, but then Hyper didn't want to play Mirage because they weren't paying their players, and they still don't seem to have been paying their players. So Mirage is in a tough place trying to pick up players. Obviously Kool-Aid, apparently he wants to stay with Parabellum. But then Doc, Silent Ends, Packer, and Blaz, all Parabellum. Then you have Mr. B and Tristan from Reality TV. They won Challenger League. Kanzan from Sonics. Eclipse from Dark Zero. Then you have Surf, Xeno, Slash Hug, Ferda, and Anthony from Beast Coast. Then you have all of Astralis, Iconic, J90, Spiff, Shuttle, and Forest. I just put these two on the list because they just announced they're coming. They want to get on teams again, which isn't really surprising to see Nyx. But yeah, we have Nyx and Creators. Obviously, Laxing, which I think definitely deserves a spot in Pro League. Now, I added these two on the list because it seems like they actually speak English, even though they're from the Brazil region or Latam region. You have Cameraman and Julio. Which there was a rumor Cameraman was going to go to Parabellum as a player, which is kind of crazy, but I don't think that's going to happen. Now, I wrote down coaches because if you have a dream team, I think you need coaches here. And obviously, the three bottom coaches on this list are, not going to be on anybody's dream team. Be it Pojaman, Gotcha, Callout, Mark, Sonar, and Guerra. Now I have the rumors here that Yeti, Rampy, Skies, and Spirits are going to be dropped. I'm not going to put Canadian and Bosco because if they're retiring, why would you consider them part of a dream team if they're retiring? So, assuming they're retiring, which it makes sense, Canadian I'm a little questionable of, but okay. So here's the part where I think we actually start making the dream team now.
So
we got
do you
want to
go first, so then you can come?
Yeah.
Kind of. Okay.
Well, I think it'd be more fun if you went first. If I can kind of show you like some of their stats or whatever.
Can you show me the stats?
Yeah. So I'm gonna pull up. We're not gonna go through one by one player. I'll just give you a general breakdown if I think they're good on some of the lesser known players.
What I want on first entry.
So you want to go over entries first.
Like I'm going in order of like what you would just think about like in general.
Okay, well
I would have Merc first entry.
Okay, so let's I just had it pulled up. Here we go. Oh, here we go. It actually shows everything right here. I can just scroll down. It's convenient. Okay, you want to go to Merc. Can do that. Oh shoot, it is not the way I expected it to be. Go all the way down. There we go. Merc. So yeah, Merc.
Pretty good. S tier, A tier.
He's won a lot. He's won the Invitational. He's 22. He's still pretty young. Does it show you his stats? Well,
No.
It doesn't show you.
It just tells you what tier you're in, pretty much.
Yeah. So just looking at this, 5th, 8th, but made it to the major. NAL first place in season 2022 stage 3.
He's won.
Gamers 8 didn't do great, but that was a Mickey Mouse tournament. First place at the Invitational 22.
Mickey Mouse tournament.
4th place at 2021 Invitational. And going down, you see a lot of first, second, third, and another first. Just really consistent player.
Merc, first entry.
So yeah, I think if you're gonna take anybody out of that TSM roster, honestly, Merc is the one to take. Merc in IGL, he was. So yeah, Merc is definitely gonna get in Pro League again. I have no doubt about that. So now,
my second entry, I'm gonna have Achieved.
Okay, that's not really great. Okay, I'll let you pick a new roster afterwards. After I take mine, maybe I'll let you go over it again and think about it. So Achieved, he's on the same team as same exact things as Merc because he's been on the same team. He got MVP of NAL I think a few seasons ago. He had like the season of his life.
Right.
So yeah, he went
it was him or Surf, so it was either one of those.
He's been with TSM since 2018, basically, when they were Orgless. Like, it's been that long. He's been with the same players, just picked up a few new players over time. So he was with TSM before they were TSM. He's been there for the whole entire run.
Alright, now, my flex.
That's the list.
My flex is gonna be Hypers. Hypers.
Yeah, I think, for what it looks like, Hyper's not going to be in Pro League anymore, based off his tweets. But I think Paul definitely deserves to be in. So he's pretty known for playing entry. He's been in Siege all the way since Dexterity. He went to Disrupt, then Mouse, then Rise Nation, then Dark Zero. Then he was on Mirage for like literally the Invitational qualifiers before he decided not to sign a contract. If you look here, yeah, he, just before actually leaving Mirage, I think like a little bit before the 22 Charlotte Major, they won it. The entire major, they won it first place. So Hyper, I think he's one of those people that slept on a bit. at this point.
My soft support, I'm gonna get.
I'll give you a little help here. That's actually great. Are you just going off of random names literally right now?
No, I've seen, so I've watched a little bit of Pro League.
Okay, he's actually building a decent roster right now. A really good roster. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. He looks dog shit compared to the places. This dude looks like one thing.
Well, Sonics has had a bit of a bumpy road, honestly.
You're like, a great pick. He's dog shit.
He's actually a really good player. He has really good stats. Like
right.
If you look right here, they actually won the NAL finals in a 2-0 versus Dark Zero in the 2021 season. That was huge.
Mm-hmm.
Invitational, they placed 5th to 6th. And here you go. Both seasons in the NAL, they placed 2nd. The Junkaping Major, they actually got 3rd place. It was a really strong performance from them. They lost to BDS, who ended up winning the major. So, they went really far. They had a good run.
Now, my IGL and team captain.
So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to pick a self-support
Mr. B.
Great. Okay, so you're picking the younger one. So, looking at, hard breach players on this list.
Right.
That are actually, I'm not going to look at the shitty ones. I'm not going to be looking at some of these people. I didn't end up on the list. Drip Bulin is also available. If anybody wants Drip Bulin, which I don't think anybody wants Drip Bulin. Mohisi, I think he's pretty decent. He played on Mirage, but he was actually showing signs of improvement. He was doing good. Gasher, he played hard support on TSM towards the end. He was decent. Mohisi. Kool-Aid, he's on Parabellum. I think he's like the support player, but he doesn't always play support. It's weird to say. He's good, though. He's really good. Clips, yeah, obviously hard support for Dark Zero. He's a really good player. All those, some people were saying, Super tried him out for the Sonics and said he's, kind of brainwashed by the Dark Zero mentality. Really slow plays. And, I mean, then on Astralis, it's you see different people playing hard breach. Sometimes you see Shuttle, sometimes you see, J90, and sometimes you see Iconic. It's just weird. So, I don't know about that, but okay. So I'm gonna write down Gabe's roster real quick here.
And then my coach would be Gotcha.
I'm gonna say you could probably have him and Pojo, because Gotcha was the assistant. So I'll give you that. So we got who do we start? We started with Merc. Achieved. Kansan,
Mr. B, and
Mr. B.
The other one.
You had picked out Hyper.
Yeah.
That's actually I would say that would be a really strong roster. You're taking probably the 2 best players. I mean, I'd say Snake was pretty good, but 2 really good veteran players from TSM. Taking Kansan, a brand new IGL leader that's showing signs of potential, and Hyper, a fragger too. So you got some really strong players. I think they might not have the best gun skills compared to some other teams, with Mr. B and maybe Achieved, but still a really good roster. So now we get to mine. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and look at this list. There's no way I'm not taking Merc. We've already went over Merc. He definitely deserves to be on this list. There's a ridiculous amount of potential on this list. It's crazy. So I'm just looking at it, everybody. I'm definitely taking Surf. I think Surf has the most potential of any. I think he is very, very slept on. I feel like Kansan is a definite. Kansan was the most consistent player on Sonics, I think. No matter what role he really was on, he was consistent just all the way through. So here we go. We got Merc, Surf, and Kansan. Kansan can play soft support. Surf can play entry. Merc can play flex a little bit, or entry. And he can IGL if needed. Now this is where it gets tricky, because I have 2 spots left. I'm looking at Laxing. I'm looking at Iconic. I think Spiff has great potential. Tristan is apparently really good. Hyper is obviously a good candidate. So I think the safe bet here is going to be go ahead and grab Iconic. I think he just showed how much clutch potential. He got some, I'll have to show you, after the video, but he got some like crazy clutches if you watched it. I think it was against Koi, which was previously Rogue with Spoit and all them. Go 1v4, on a bank, the blue stairs. He was sitting at the top of the stairs. They were trying to plant and staff. The bomb was in the double door, the diffuser. They kept running towards it. He just picked them off one by one, 1-on-1 versus 4. It was crazy. It was so smart too. He stood at the bottom of the stairs and waited till they picked up the diffuser, the notification, then he ran up and killed him while he's playing it. It was crazy. So, and this is assuming, of course, that Astralis are dropping, are not getting a new org and they're getting split up. So, I'm taking Iconic. Okay, so we need one more player. Presumably, you'd take a Heartbreach player here, but I think that we can have Merc or Kansan or somebody in here just fit around it, especially with A7 and the AK. I feel like it's just such an easier time fitting, and it's just Thermite that nobody wants to play Hibana. So, and we've seen Merc play Maverick, and that's why I think he's a great pick too. He can play some of those different roles. So I have one spot left, and Siege is such a meta where it just kills. So I think I'm gonna pick somebody that can shoot. Like, even though we already have a lot of people that can shoot.
Hyper.
Yeah, Hyper's a good pick. I think Spiff would be a good pick here too.
Cool.
But I'm actually gonna go something a bit different than what most people would probably expect. So I think a lot of people are counting him out right now, and I don't know why. I think he's probably one of the best players to touch the game. He was the most consistent player on the team that he was on. I'm gonna pick Laxin. Oh, I just punched the mic. I'm so sorry. Edit that out. So I'm going to take Laxin because he was the most consistent player in Oxygen for such a long time. I think that Oxygen should have dropped to Vertical and not Laxin, in my opinion, but it was their decision. So then for coaches, I think it's really hard not to pick Callout. And I think I would actually go with Callout, because I think Callout just shows like a new energy. He's just very calm, and I'm not sure if Pojoman and Gotcha still have the same spark to win as Callout might. So I think I'm gonna go with Callout, and if I had an assistant coach here, I'm probably gonna take Gotcha or Pojo. I mean, it's hard to say. I'd probably go with Gotcha because I really like Gotcha. But so that's it. So that's our teams. Now, that being said, is there anything you'd want to switch for a dream team here?
I'd take a Surf over Achieved.
Surf over Achieved. So yeah, I'll just say or Surf. Okay.
That's it.
So now, the only last thing I want to do, this won't take nearly as long, because we just basically stated our... And now I think looking at both these teams, especially honestly the one that I made, maybe taking Laxing, because Laxing doesn't fit every system, like people have talked about that before. He has a very unique playstyle. So if you took out Laxing, I mean, like I said, you can throw in Spiff, you could throw in Forest, you could throw in really a lot of these people. I forgot to mention, I don't think Blaz is going to stay in NA, so I didn't put him on my list, or else I would have put Blaz on my list. So, Blaz is definitely there. So just real quick, I wanted to talk about a lot of orgs looking for teams right now, so I just wanted to make one more team together, Gabe. So considering if they took my team,
right?
Obviously, all these other orgs need teams, need players. So I just want to make another team that I think could win big, because you have to make it worth investing in right now. Okay, so we have to cross out Merc, Surf, Kansan, Iconic, and Laxing. So I think straight off the bat, I think you grab Snake. I think Snake's a good pick. I'll show you his Wikipedia. Hopefully he actually pops up. I don't think that's the right one. Oh yeah, it is. Okay, Snake. Okay, so yeah, he started on Vipers as a Challenger League. He went back to TSM as a trial, and now he's on TSM. So yeah, Snake definitely up and coming. He's a solid player, I think. He did not win the Invitational with TSM. He came a lot afterwards. You can see NAL Season 3, Stage 3, first place. So, I think he was definitely showing signs of improvement on TSM. I think he was a good pickup for them. So, I think I would throw a Snake on here. Now, I think you take Hyper
Hyper.
for a second roster. So there you go. You got two people that can shoot, or Hyper can do good.
What about
shooting.
Merc?
Merc, remember, we're making a second roster. Like, if these players got picked up. Well, yes, but we're going off the one I made.
Okay.
Unless you want to go off yours.
Go ahead.
Go off yours.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Tristan.
I think everybody on, what this is, on Beast Coast is terrible besides Surf. I think all of Australis is good. Nixon creators are dog shit. Laxing, I think, is amazing. I think everybody on TSM is good. I think Merc and Snake are the best. I think Achieved is still good. DP Fire, I just don't see him winning anything. I don't know anything about Eddie. I think Adrian has a terrible mindset. He's shown it. Benji can be good. Dexter can be good. Melted can be good. Mohisi can be good. Kento is mid. Hyper's great. Kool-Aid definitely deserves a spot. So, here we go. I think Doc's okay too. This is where it gets hard. I'm going to throw Kool-Aid. He can play hard support or soft support. I'm going to throw Eclipse. And we probably just need another gunner because Kool-Aid and Eclipse can do the back work. So what do you think, Gabe, for one more gunner that hasn't been on the list? So you still got, on Australis, you got Spiff, Shuttle, Forest. We can pick them out. Or J90. You have other good players we're looking at here that are left. Tristan. Blaz, I'm assuming, isn't going to be an NA. I'm just assuming. Doc, I think, was pretty good. I think Melted has potential.
J90.
Okay, Gabe wants to go with J90. So, say J90. I'm going to put an OR for what I think. I would probably, on Australis,
Melted.
He is not. I would not put Melted. I think anybody on Australis is better than Melted. I would probably, honestly, I'm really stuck here. I think I'm going to take Spiff. I know he didn't do great on that last game against Koi, but he had definite signs that he was a good player. I think he's going to be really good if he gets a new team. So there you have it. Those are two rosters and Gabe's roster that we think could win. Now, I think the roster that I put, I think they indefinitely could win a major or contest an invite. It's a really strong team. The point is, there's so many available players right now, including me and Gabe. Like, there are so many players right now that could be playing. So, yeah, that's really it. So we're going to sign out there. Thanks for watching.